can lead us, that can take us, that can get us into heaven. Nothing that you and I can do. It's all because of Jesus Christ that I'm alive. All because of Him. Without Him, I'm alive. That's good news, folks. Listen, go out anywhere today and tell about Jesus Christ, and it's good news in this land that needs to hear it. You ever wonder about the names of Christ? You know, my goodness, I've got a book at home that's this thick, folks, of the names of Christ. I mean, it's in alphabetical order. You're amazed at just how many names of Christ that He has. In this book of Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6, it gives us some names of Christ there, a prophecy of 700 years prior. This is who Christ is. It's His character. It's the good news that the people was wanting to hear. The prophet Isaiah, through the Word of God, God speaking to him, and it was just bubbling up out of his soul. He was telling the people of one who is to come. This is the one. It says here, chapter 9, verse 6. For unto us a child is born, and unto us a son is given, and the government will be upon His shoulder, and His name will be called Wonderful, Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, and Prince of Peace. You know, right there was some of the greatest news that had ever been told. Father in heaven, I pray that you'll have blessing in the reading of your word here this morning. Lord, reveal to us today as to who you are. For it's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Do you ever wonder about Christmas, you know, and you think about the prophecies of old, you know, foretelling about Christ coming? I said, folks, that just blows my mind. 700 to 900 years ahead of time, there they were telling about Jesus Christ coming, the Messiah that would be the Redeemer, the Deliverer that would come. And here, the first part of it, he talks about, he gives us His name. And folks, names were important then. Names were important. You see, Adam, his very name means from the earth. It was important, you see, they named people. It really brought about their true character. You know, sometimes we just take, choose names frivolously. Boy, I'm not one like that. I mean, whenever we were having our children, I was painstakingly, going over what to name this child. Matter of fact, when Stephanie was first born, we didn't even have a name for her when she was born. Why, those nurses, they were so mad at me, they were threatening me. We're gonna put a name on this girl if you don't name her. And I said, oh boy, I really got to this. I told him, I said, well, how do you name a dog until you see it? Yeah, I know, they're all old redneck Lewis, But as soon as she was born, I saw her, and I said, Stephanie. That's her name. Oh, and then came Cassidy, and boy, yeah, waited right there. They knew us. They said, oh, he won't name her when she's born. Don't worry about it. So there they were, me and Melanie, we talked about that. We had shovel picked, and boy, Cassidy was born, and we looked at her, and both of us said, yes, that's Cassidy. I pulled Justin. I was in the den that day. I pulled on my favorite pair of boots. Justin boots. I told him about that story, and he said, Dad, it's a good thing I wasn't born later in life, or else you'd call me Air Yacht. Names, I tell you, when the prophet was speaking about the names of who was to come, the first name that he says here is His name shall be called Wonderful. Now, a lot of Bible scholars like to put those two together, and that's okay. He can be a wonderful counselor. He is, no doubt. But I love the way it is, and it's separated there, I believe. For listen, He is wonderful. Amen? It's in His character to be wonderful. I mean, when we think about the wonder of God, I want you just to imagine, as you come and behold Him there in that manger, now the wonder of Mary and all of those that were around that stable that day. Can you imagine? Just think of the thoughts that was going through their mind. How about his mother? There was Mary, as she was holding him. I love this Christmas musical that's coming up. How could they have missed him? There's a song in that musical there where it's Mary singing, and she's talking about Christ, and she's just in amazement and wondering as she's holding him. She says, "As I hold you, hold me." Oh, can you imagine this little baby, He begins that passage with, unto us a child is born. Unto us a son is given. And we think about the wonder of His love. For John 3:16 says, "For God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son." And whoever believes in Him should not perish but have everlasting life. Can you imagine the wonder of it all? He didn't have to do that. He didn't have, matter of fact, He could have just, if we were so steeped in sin, folks, He could have just wiped us out and began again. Did you know that? He did that with Noah. Oh, the land was evil that day. And he was even relenting on creating mankind. Can you believe it? A creation that He created in His own image had gotten so evil. Why? Because, we have an adversary, don't we? We have one who is against us every single day. Our Sunday school lesson this morning was on being prepared. Prepared. It says in Ephesians that we need to be prepared for the evil day. Folks, a lot of us think that that's the day that's coming. Listen, I'm telling you what now, that is the day since Jesus ascended into heaven until He comes again. It's the day that we're living in now, and it's getting worse and worse. The evil of that day, I can't imagine. Yesterday just brought it all back again. It was 16 years ago to the day that they found Karen Stiles' body. And we had that service here yesterday. Folks, the evil of what took place with that young woman. How do we prepare ourselves for that day? And it tells us in Ephesians that we need to be prepared, that we need to put on that whole armor of God. To be prepared. If I was God, I wouldn't fool with this. I'd just say, and I'd start over again. Aren't you glad that I'm not God? He loves us. And He sent His Son, His wonderful Son. Matter of fact, it was God incarnate. It was God in the flesh. His Son, Jesus Christ, was God in the flesh, came to us as a baby. I often wonder about that, and I can't think of any better way to explain it than that story of Paul Harvey. You all remember the story that he used to tell of the birds, don't you? Here was this family. This family was at home, and there they were, one Christmas Eve, and the family wanted to go to the Christmas Eve service down at the church. And they had longed for their dad to go to church with them. Oh, they had prayed and longed for him and begged and asked him to go. And even that night, there it was, a Christmas Eve night. They said, "Dad," and the children did, "Won't you come to church with us tonight?" He said, No, I'm not going. You all go on. But I don't need to go. I don't believe in that. I don't see how it could ever be. So there they left him on that Christmas Eve. It began to get cold while they were gone, and the snow began to come in. And as he was sitting in his chair, he had just thrown a log on the fire. There he was, sitting in his recliner, reading the newspaper. He heard this thump. He said, "What is that?" Heard it again. He got out of his chair and he looked at the window, and there were some birds outside the window on the little trees out there, and they were trying to get in to where it was warm.